to go over the notes. Yes, Nathan, don't worry. We won't make it go viral on YouTube or anything like that. My teaching is not that fantastic. Although there might be some bloopers that would be entertaining, but other than that, we're okay. Caitlin, do you have a camera?
She went to the washroom.
Oh, okay. All right. When she comes back, remind her to put her camera on, please. Okay, it's not for you, it's for me. I need to see your faces this way. I know if you're actually understanding or not. If I see a whole bunch of, that means I know you're not understanding, but if I see, then hopefully that means you're understanding. All right, so I heard you had, hey, Nathan understands that, great. I heard you all were having problems with the essay. So I'm going to go over all the steps, how to write your essay again. And please, if you don't understand anything, just stop me immediately. Okay, we do have, like, this is a 30-week course, but you have like about 38 weeks in the school year. So there is time to stop and to review things and go over things. And if we don't, it's like math, you know, if you don't understand one step, the next step is more difficult to understand. Hi, Caitlin, is that her coming in? So you need to stop me and I'll go over everything, okay? So let me share my screen. Okay, minimize some of the stuff here. Don't need that. Okay. So first thing is, do you see along the top of these where I'm pointing now, there's a part that's green? Okay, this was something I didn't actually figure out at the beginning of the class. It's only, that one's not highlighting green because we're on page 6, or part 6. But the other ones, like on this one here, part 9, there's actually 3 pages. There's part 9, there's the girl who loved horses, and there's the lonely land. The drop-down parts are the stories in most cases, and the teaching parts are up here. So I'm going to start at, I'm going to start at lesson 7. What happened there? Okay, because part 7 and part 8 are the ones that actually tell you what the work that were assigned for this week. So you have your writing assignment, and do you remember reading through this with me last week? Yes, everybody? Yes, no, thumbs up is, Nathan, I don't see, that's a yes? Yeah, okay. All right. So, and then the test, okay, again, before you do the test, you need to know the names of the stories, the short story terms. Make sure, like, really, it's giving you everything here. If you can't find the information on the website, just look it up online. Go to Google. What are the 5 main parts of a plot? What is an exposition? What is rising action? What is climax? Okay, but you should be able to find all of those parts there in these green parts here at the top. Okay, so that's the information you need to review for your test. Okay, is everybody 100% clear on that? Excuse me. That part's okay, everyone? Okay, great. So, let me just double check. Okay, so for the short story review, so for your final draft, if you find that your grammar and your spelling isn't always great, you can create an audio file using Audacity, okay, to do your final draft of your short story review. All right, if you don't like writing, if you know that you make lots of spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes, you can just create an audio file, or just an audio file or a video file. You can use Zoom, you can use Audacity, you can use any of those things, and then record it and submit it to the box. So you would still need to write it out so that you have your notes that you're reading, but I'm not necessarily going to see grammar mistakes and spelling mistakes, or you won't lose marks for that. So if you prefer to do it that way, then go right ahead. Okay? Everyone 100% clear on that point? Yep. Okay, so let's go back now to, actually I'll move that picture over there so I can use my scroll bar. I'm going to go back to, okay, part 8 now. Part 8 tells us more about writing the story, the short story review. The short story, the test, it's a closed book test, okay? So you have 60 minutes to do the test, but no access to your notes. Forgot to mention that. Okay, so let me see where the other part was, but was it here? Okay, so we're now on topic 6. Okay, if I look up at the top of the page, 5 is highlighted in green, 6, nothing comes up, 7 is there. So we're on part 6 now. And the file I'm going to show you, I will also send it to you by email in case you have problems finding it. There's 2 files that's going to help you write your essay. So the first one is the short story review outline, the overall focus. Or the short story review line, the literary device focus. I'm going to send you the literary device focused just because I want to do a sample review with you in class today, and that's the form I'm going to use. And then the other one is the short story review form. So those 2 look like this. And I'll do the other one first. Okay, basic essay outline, literary devices focus. So before you do your final essay, you're going to start with this. Okay, just looking through it quickly first, we have in blue, we have title. And there's only one blue. Okay, so let's go back and look at the green points. The green points, we have the introduction, which is the short plot snapshot, the introduction paragraph. Then we have number 2, the body paragraph number 1, the predominant literary devices 1. We're going to have a look at that in a second. Part 2, the body paragraph number 2, predominant literary device number 2. And 3, number 4, the body paragraph number 3, the predominant literary device number 3, and then the conclusion. That's it. Okay, this, for those of you that are in my history class, this is a little bit like the outline that you're supposed to be using for your history notes too. See how you have different colors here? Okay. You remember when we talked about writing first paragraph, it has to have an attention grabber. So something that's going to grab my attention, talk about the whole story that you're reviewing. It could be, for example, the one I'm going to review with you is the ransom guy. What's his name? Ransom Red Chief. I have it over here in another folder. So, all right. Red Chief. A ransom of Red Chief by, and I don't remember who the author was, but by whoever, is a captivating short story that explores that uses various devices to ensure that the reader wants to read the full story. Okay, that's not a great sentence, but it's okay to start with. Okay, then you're going to link to 3 main body parts. So I don't know, first one, I don't know second one yet, I don't know the third one yet. And then your thesis statement will be combination of and. Okay, those 3 things we're going to put in the linking sentences here. That goes into our thesis statement. Are we okay so far? Caitlin's okay, Nathan's okay, Austin, okay, Josie and Brooke, okay? All right. So now, to start with, I don't want you to write anything more than that. In fact, you don't even have to write that. Just use an attention grabber. Make sure you mention the title and author. Okay, so that's all we need to do to start with. Now, the body paragraph 1. So the main point will be, we have a main point, we have 3 supporting ideas, okay, and that's it for the body. Then body paragraph 2, second main point, 3 supporting ideas. Body paragraph 3, third main point, 3 supporting ideas. So the one I'm going to look at is characterization. In a moment, I will show you where I got characterization. Okay, the second main point I'm going to look at will be conflict. Okay, and the third main point I'm going to look at will be figurative language. Okay, and notice how I'm filling all of these in without, I'm just skipping all the supporting ideas right now. Okay, so to restate the thesis about something about characterization, conflict, and figurative language. And at this point, like I have some sentences, some wrong spelling there, wrong typing. At this stage, you know, if you want to correct it, go ahead, but it's really not important at this stage to correct your spelling. Okay, it's more important to actually let the flow go. And then make this something individual about your opinion of the story. You're actually use the word personal. Okay, are we all right so far? Brooke okay? Josie's okay? Austin, Nathan, and Caitlin, good. All right, and that's your outline. Once you have those main ideas, the conflict, figurative language, and what was the third one? Characterization up here. Okay, once you have those, you've really got a good start to go. Now, you don't have to choose those 3, so let me show you where I got that information from. It was up here. Literary devices. You see where this is? Nathan, are you watching? Okay, literary devices right here. So any of these things that are in red, allegory, the role of the antagonist, characterization, the climax, conflict, any of those things that are in red, you can choose as one of your 3 main devices. Okay, or literary techniques. Their devices and techniques are pretty similar. So you can use any of those 3 as your 3 paragraphs. All right? Caitlin, okay? Nathan? Okay. All right, you all look like you're understanding so far, so that's good. Okay, so that's your rough outline. Now we have to fill in this part here. So this will be a sentence about conflict. Or no, the first one was characterization. This will be a sentence about conflict. This will be a sentence about figurative language. And then here, this will be a combination of characterization, conflict, and figurative language. Do you see how I'm correcting my spelling here? Just right click and choose the one that it comes up with, as long as it's the correct word, of course. Okay, so we have attention grabber, the 3 linking sentences, the thesis statement. We have the characterization. We need our 3 supporting ideas. We have conflict. We need 3 supporting ideas. We have figurative language, need 3 supporting ideas. We have restating here. Okay, and this one is spelled so bad it doesn't actually give suggestions, so you'd have to go back and change that manually. Individual. Okay, now the story that I'm going to work with you guys today is the Red Chief one, the Ransom of Red Chief. So I've actually written it out or copied it out onto a Word document here so that I can make some highlights on it. I suggest whatever story you're going to work on, actually print it out, because then you'll be able to make markings on it. And when you make markings, it's a lot easier to go back and read it. So you may need to read this a couple of times. I'm just making in the paragraphs here. Okay, you can, if you're going to print yours out directly, you won't need to do this. I'm just doing a bit of it like that now, okay? So the first one we're looking at is characterization. Let's look at the definition of characterization again. Characterization, the author's means of conveying to a reader a character's personality, his life history, his values, his physical attributes. It also directly refers to a description thereof. So Articus is characterized as an almost impossibly virtuous man doing what is right and imparting impeccable moral values to his children. Okay, so we're really talking more about the first part, the character's personality, his life history, his values, his physical attributes, etc. So let's look through Red Chief, and I'm going to choose a color highlighter. Where's my highlighting tool? Okay, I'll just choose a different text color. So I'll choose this to be, it's in blue, I'll choose a red. Okay, so whenever I see something that's going to be relative, that I think could do with something's character, I will just highlight it in red. In your case, you should highlight it, use a physical highlighter and highlight it whatever color you want. You have 3 paragraphs, so you need 3 different highlighters. Okay, it looked like a good thing, but wait till I tell you. We were down south in Alabama, Bill Driscoll and myself, when this kidnapping idea struck us. It was, as Bill afterwards expressed it, during a moment of temporary mental apparition, but we didn't find that out until later. There was a town down there as flat as a pancake called Summit, of course. It contained inhabitants as undeleterious and self-satisfied a class of peasantry as ever clustered around a maypole. So I'm going to highlight when this kidnapping idea struck us. Okay, and I'm going to put that in red. Okay, I'm going to copy it, like that, and I'm going to paste it onto here. Where is characterization? Okay, so point number 1, and I just paste it here. Okay, and I will say, what's the name of this character? Okay, it just says we for now. Does anyone remember his main? Bill and was it Old Hank? No. Okay, so for now, I won't look at it. You can find it afterwards. But I'll just say he was an impulsive character. Okay, this kidnapping idea struck us. Like, normally you would think if an idea struck you, it might be like, let's go to the mall, or let's buy some donuts, or something kind of minor. You don't tend to make major life-changing decisions like a kidnapping idea just on impulsive things. So he was a very impulsive character, and that's something we'll expand on later. Are you okay with that much example I've given you so far? Okay, really important that you use the highlighter and you just look for one thing at a time. So I've got one thing about impulsive. Let's look for something else about characterization. It can be the same character or a different character. There was a town down there. Here, Bill and me had a joint capital of $600 and we needed just $2,000 more to pull off a fraudulent town lot scheme in Western Illinois. So they were going to pull off a fraudulent town lot scheme. Okay, so the word fraud is telling you something again about their characters. So I highlight it, I copy it, and I put it on my document here. Okay, and I'm going to say they were used to a life of crime. Okay, so they're not they're not people who just had a bad idea and didn't realize they were used to planning crime. So we call them experienced criminals or career criminals. Criminals. Okay, are we all okay so far? Yep. All right, next point. Again, we're still looking for characterization, something about the characters. We talked it over on the front steps of the hotel. Philoprogenitiveness, we said, is strong in semi-rural communities. Therefore, and for other reasons, a kidnapping project ought to do better there than in the radius of newspapers that sent reporters out in plainclothes to syrup talks about such things. We knew that Summit couldn't get after us with anything except constables and perhaps some lackadaisical blood towels and a diet fight or two. So I will say here, we knew that's, okay, so Summit is the name of the town. And I'm just going to highlight this part here. And I'll put it into my document here. And I'll say they were schemers and had no qualms about taking advantage of other people. Okay, all right so far? Okay, so you're going to do that for each one. You'd look for 3 examples of conflict, if you choose conflict, copy and paste it, and then your little sentence with it. 3 examples of figurative language, copy and paste it, and so on. Okay, now we have to turn this into a regular paragraph. So, okay, I'll just turn this into a sentence. I'll say Bill and his companions were impulsive characters. His companion were impulsive characters. Okay, so there's my sentence, and then I'll write what they said. They said that, and then just in advertus commas. Okay, I'll take out the end of the sentence because we already have it there. Bill and his companion were impulsive characters. They said that when this kidnapping ideas struck us, as if they were used to performing outrageous acts without any much thought to cost or consequences. Okay, so I took my notes and I turned them into a couple of sentences. Are you okay with that? Brooke's nodding, Josie's nodding, I think. Nathan's okay. Caitlin, you're okay? All right. So now you do the same thing with the fraudulent town lot scheme and the same thing. How come I had two that same thing? Oh, I must have mistyped one. Let me go back to the story. Oh, the Wings of the Summer couldn't get after us. I forgot to change that one. Okay. Okay, let me change that. Okay, so those are the quotations. So every time you write a sentence, it's important that you give a quotation to back it up. Not long quotations, like you can use half sentences like this. If you just copy whole paragraphs, then that's considered plagiarizing and that you actually lose marks for. But like part of a sentence like this to back up your point, then that's okay. So now I'll just change that to a different color to show that it's kind of complete. Okay, and then you'd do the same thing for the second point, same thing for the third point. Then you'll go on and do the same thing for conflict, the same thing for figurative language. Are we okay so far? Yeah. All right. When you have your three supporting ideas done, then you will go back and write an attention grabber here. So you're going to mention the author and the title. An attention grabber, try and make it something personal. Personal. Something unique. Okay, so has to have something that's maybe a question, or it could be something funny, or something thought-provoking. So, for example, I'll give you something thought-provoking. Life does not always turn out as expected, especially for fools. Okay, and if you want, you could put in a Bible quote there or whatever to say how the wages of sin is death, or if you look through the book of Proverbs, just do a Google search for excuse me, a scripture about fools. You'll find plenty of them. Okay, I'm going to just what we're doing now in class. I'm going to save this document and send it to you the way it is. Okay, and then you can just edit it yourselves. So then a general sentence about characterization, a general sentence about conflict, a general sentence about figurative language, and then your thesis. And then finishing up the end. Now, the next part I want to show you is this one here. When you finished all of those notes that we just looking at, then you have your short story review. You have to actually go back and review your notes again and make it better. So if you're planning to hand this in on, let's say your test is going to be on Thursday morning probably. So let's say you take Wednesday to study for the test. If you're going to hand this in on Tuesday, you need to actually write it on tomorrow and Monday. And then on Tuesday, you're going to review it. And reviewing it, you check that you have an introduction paragraph with a thesis and you have a concluding paragraph. Make sure that you have a topic sentence. Keep in mind that it has 3 examples, quotes, or ideas. Okay, that's already laid out for you. Now, the style techniques taught in parts 4 to 6. And we're going to, and the shift method in part 6. Those are the parts that on Tuesday, as you're reviewing it, these are the things you need to go back and make adjustments for. So let's look at parts 4, 5, and 6. Okay, part 4. Remember, click on the green bar. And here are the stylistic techniques for grade 10. So dress it up, sentence starters, decorations, and triple extensions. You should, somewhere in that you should have a who or which verb. So we could say, Bill, who was a impulsive character. Or which is for animals, who is for people. Lee, adding a verb like slowly, methodically, they carefully planned out their scheme. Make sure you have a Lee at least once in it. Make sure you use the word because in your assignment. And strong verbs. I think we talked about this before. Let me look back on the Word document. So we look at the example I used here. Okay, a weak verb is the word wear. They wear impulsive characters, because wear is kind of something you learn to write when you're in grade 1 or grade 2. So we want to find an alternative for wear. So I highlight the word wear. I go to review. And I go to thesaurus. And here it's going to come up with alternatives for a thesaurus. Let's look for the word be. Related words are be, because it didn't give me one directly for where. So, all right, here's related words to where. Exist. Bill and his companions existed as. Doesn't that seem stronger than just Bill and his companion were impulsive characters? Bill and his examples existed as impulsive characters. Let's put in a Lee verb there. They clearly. Bill and his companion clearly existed as impulsive characters. Okay. They said that, what was the other one that went on? Because verbs. Let's look for because. Okay. We know this because. Okay, so now I have my because verb in there. The next one was who, Lee, because, and a strong verb. Okay, let's put a who. Okay, it doesn't really fit in this paragraph here, but you get the idea. You go through the entire essay and find somewhere where you can put in an ooh, a who. quality adjectives. So let's look at quality adjectives here. Okay, that link's not working. So I'm just going to do the Google search for quality adjectives. Examples. Yeah, actually, normally if you do an image search, it gives you a better summary of something fast. So here we go. Do you guys know what an adjective is? Without me looking it up. Brooke's nodding. Okay, so somebody use your microphone and tell me while this is loading. What is an adjective? It's very, but I think you can get me there. For something to do with sight, we can say it was beautiful, pretty, glimmering, handsome, adorable. Any of those words. Okay, if one about size, big, huge, giant, huge, tiny, microscopic. Okay, any of those things, you're going to use adjectives like that in your assignment. And then when, while clauses. The hare dozed peacefully while the tortoise plodded persistently. Okay, so those are all things. When you're reviewing it on Tuesday, make sure you go back and put those things into it. Let's see another example. Top of the page, part 5. Okay, sentence starters. You can start with the subject, which is the main person or thing. And the tortoise felt confident and challenged the hare to a race. So in our example, we can, when we start with the subject, we're looking at Bill and his companion clearly stated. Okay, we're starting with the subject there, or clearly existed. Or we could change that around. We could start with a clearly word, ly word. So we can say clearly, and then we have to take it out here. Clearly, Bill and his companion existed as impulsive characters. Okay. Let's look at a different sentence starter. Ing word, ing word. So we know this because they. Okay, so let's change to say performing outrageous X came naturally to them. Performing outrageous acts came naturally to them. Performing outrageous acts came naturally to them. We know this because they said that when this kidnapping idea struck us, there was not much thought to cost or consequences. Okay, so here we've started with a Lee word, here we started with an ing word, and here we started with the subject. Other examples here are clausal. We can start a sentence with while, when, while, where, since, as if, though, because, any of those, and a very short sentence, call me Ishmael. So you could say, we could finish that off here and saying, what a pair. Okay, so that's all given the same information, but it's a different quality sentence than it was when we started. Everybody clear so far? Is there anything you want me to go over? We have 4 minutes left. Is there anything you would like me to review? Okay, so I'll just go through the steps very, very quickly again. You start off with, your basic outline like this. Remember that you find your 3 things that you're going to use, which will be, in my case, characterization, conflict, figurative language. You can use any of the things that are on the literary device page. Okay, I'll just summarize this in an email also, but just to tell you, anything that's on the literary device page, then you will go to your thing. You can either copy and paste it onto a Word document like this so that you can actually highlight it and edit things. And then look for characterization and find 3 examples of characterization or your first point, copy and paste them, put them onto your document, and create a sentence around those. You do that for each of the 3 points here. Then you go back, you do your introduction, you have an idea what you're writing about, then you do your conclusion. Okay, on Tuesday, before you hand it in, you go back and review it, and you look for the points, the stylistic techniques and the sentence starters, and using a thesaurus to see what you can improve works on. All right? And that should give you, if you follow all those points, you should get a minimum a B, if not an A. Do we have any questions? Are you 100% sure you know what to do now? Yes? Okay, all right. Okay, so the class is recorded. So I will send you a copy of the recording also. I'm stopping.